Okay, everybody, looks like we are live, or I am live. There's no we here. There's some people out in the chat room I see, but you can't see me yet. But send some links out. Everybody, welcome to the Green Dragon Tavern Chats. If you haven't been here before, um, send some links out to you all out there, the regulars, bartenders, everybody. You should have a link in your G Plus or on Facebook. I may hit you up. Let me know. Tony said he would be in shortly, maybe. So we will hopefully see you then. But I guess big thing today, cold, or that's what I'm hearing. It's pretty cold out there. It's not been too bad out here where I'm at. Uh-oh. Who's that? Somebody else has joined in. All right. But it's cold, is what I'm hearing.
It's cold outside.
But it's not been too bad out here. It's been in the low 20s in the morning, but which is unusual, but not record-breaking. But definitely, for what I'm seeing on the news, we're looking at global warming on a global scale. Is that right, Mule?
Global, is it getting that cold everywhere? Man, it's so bitter damn cold here.
Well, here's a. I'll share this with you.
Well, let me just give you a little anecdotal evidence, right? Yesterday we went out shooting with Fabrizio, and it was 0 with the wind chill factor.
Okay, right.
And I got to tell you, it was cold.
Yeah, I saw that you guys had some issues.
Yeah, and I didn't, right? And I was actually talking to Reb about it a little earlier. And you're a perfect guy to ask, right? Because, you're long service. What do you use to lube your gun in the cold? Because all I've done is the same thing I do all the time, is I use that red grease, real thin coat, and that's it. And it chugged along in the frozen tundra, no problem. Fabrizio used this new stuff called Fire Clean on some of the guns and had problems.
Was it too thick, you think, or?
I don't know. He kept using the lithium grease on the Rifle Dynamics rifle, and that chugged along like an AK should, right?
Mhm.
Like a champ. And his wife Katie had used Rem oil on her Sig Sauer 930 or whatever it is, the little 9mm,
Mhm.
and chugged along like a champ. And like I said, red grease on my stuff, all chugged along like champs. I don't think he did it too thick. I mean, Breeze is pretty good about that. I just wonder if certain products don't work well in the cold, and what you learned in your experience.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. First, I want to try to fix this. I guess it's stuck on me. Hopefully, that'll work. Uh, don't want everybody to look at me the whole time. That's for sure. Did you say the rim oil, the Sig? Did it work okay with the rim oil?
Yeah, the SIG worked good with the Rem oil, did fine. And like I said, I mean, it had gone, it got damn cold damn quick out where we were shooting. And so the second the metal came out of the gun case or whatever, it was pretty much down to 0, you know? And some of the firearms had issues, the ones he used the Fire Clean with. But the ones that, either got used with Rem oil or with just straight lithium grease or high temp axle grease, they all did fine in 0 weather.
Yeah, it might have just been the weapon because rim oil should have issues once it gets below 20.
Oh yeah.
Anything with like a CLP based or a similar type product, I've always seen that when it gets down below that, you're going to have issues with sluggishness and everything else. But if it was just that one weapon, it may have been something else. Did they disassemble it and reassemble it there on the range or anything like that?
No, not right there. It was just too dang cold, What's up, Jim?
Hey, yeah, you're right. Too damn cold.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, though. If it's that cold, you just got to disassemble the whole thing and break it down. Because what happens, and maybe not so much for an AK because it doesn't have as many small parts, but with your M4 and your finer tuned weapons, those tiny parts will get a little bit of just a little bit of condensation around them, taking them in and out of vehicles or in and out of the house or whatever, especially out east where it's humid. and that'll freeze up and it'll ice up on those little tiny parts, and it'll seize up.
Right, and that's the funny thing was his 1911s, and he has a couple of them now, so they had an issue, right? And then the 8mm Mauser had issue.
The bolt action?
Yeah, it was sticky.
Oh, just trying to rack it back and everything. It was like tight.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And that rifle wasn't like that when we took it out, in the summer. It was a nice, smooth running rifle. So yeah, it was just interesting to learn, And yeah, again, and that's the thing. His PAP had an issue too, right?
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
What was he using on that? Was that grease or?
That was the fire clean stuff, and that's what I'm saying. Some things just can't. And you were telling me that the CLP based stuff doesn't do good under 20. So yeah, it was 0 yesterday.
Well, that's wind chill. Wind chill doesn't really factor in on the inside of the outside of the weapon can, but
well,
the inside doesn't really feel that.
It can on the inside too when it's exposed to that kind. I mean, it's not like it was exposed to the wind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'll get down to outside temperatures quicker. I mean,
Yes.
everything.
So the wind chill is kind of more like a feel-like temperature, how the moisture evaporates off your skin and that kind of stuff. But it still probably rapidly cool your weapon from one temperature to another.
You got to bring it down a lot faster. But that's interesting that his PAP and AK variant had issues because they're so loose tolerances. Usually, they don't malfunction as much in the cold.
Yeah, because mine didn't. Right, that's what I had out was my PAP, right, and it just chugged along like an AK, bang, 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 every time. No issues, 0 issues. So that's why I was just wondering because and Jim, you know what it's like out here on the prairie. I mean, this is prairie, right? So where we shoot, it's surrounded by cornfields and soy fields, and I mean, no small acreage on these, right? And his is just a little, 2.5 acres, I think it's more like 3 acres of land with a tree line surrounding it, bordering it. So that wind whips through there.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky with my spot. Of course, I haven't been out there in the cold, but it's kind of down in the valley, so you don't have the wind quite as bad, but it holds all the heat in the summertime, so that's a trade-off.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's like a mile from the 80 corridor, and that's all pretty much clear cut to Iowa. So the wind just travels down that thing like it's funneling up to Chicago. Up to Chirac, baby.
That was a big deal when we were looking for a country property. The wife was looking at one that was up on the flat and no trees. And I go, it's going to be windy all the fucking time, and it's going to be really fucking cold. So we're lucky enough to find our spot that had some numerous tree lines and different things to break it up so we don't get the wind quite as bad.
Yeah, and that's what it's like out here in the prairie. Is you have these little spots that it's just wind breaks because it gets so damn windy out here. But yeah, but everything went great. It was a fun time out at the range, but it was just interesting to see, shit freezing up. I've not witnessed that before, but I'm not a soldier and I'm, nothing like that, so.
Well, yeah, what I would say is break it all down and re-clean it and just put a lighter coat of whatever you're using on it and try it again. Just make sure you don't get it condensation or anything in any, when you take it out, and see if it's either the lube or if that was the issue or who knows,
Right. Well, we'll try that. I'm sure they'll be coming back down a couple weeks, month, whatever. But because we're going to have to do something in the snow, and we haven't gotten any here yet. I got to do some fun in the snow.
The other thing is when you bring your cold shit back into the house, if you can keep it in the case or in a baggie or something so it doesn't draw moisture to it until it warms back up to room temperature. That might help your rusting issues.
Well, that'll just clean the damn thing, right?
Yeah,
that helps.
Get it.
I mean, same thing with the video camera. Usually when I bring it to the house, you'll see how the lens will just all frost over and all that kind of shit, so you wrap it up in a baggie to at least let it warm up before the moisture attacks it.
Right.
There was one time, it was really fucking cold going back to Iowa State University, and I had a ceramic water pipe in the trunk of my car that spent 24 hours there, so we got stuck in a snowstorm. And I took it into my dorm room and set it up on the shelf, and the pipe was probably like about 0, and then of course my dorm room was probably 70, so Yeah, I sat up there for about 15 minutes, and I started hearing these crinkling sounds, and the whole skin of the ceramic was just exploding off of it one piece at a time because the thing just self-destructed and fell apart.
So how's it going over in Nevada? What's up with the BLM out there, HD?
I'm not sure about anything this week. I haven't really seen much. There was that Pahrump hearing that got canceled last week, but I haven't followed up on anything to see how it got rescheduled. But it should be coming up here before Thanksgiving, I believe, for that public hearing in Pahrump. And then, I mean, of course they're laying low. I mean, so we need to stay on top of them. I'm kind of relying on people in Southern Nevada to kind of be on the ground feeding info, but I haven't been really been. I've been a little bit too busy with everything else trying to pay attention.
Right, life does get in the way. But yeah, because I'm telling you, most people don't realize it, but that's a real battleground right there with this situation. And either most people don't realize it or they don't even know about it, you know? And they don't understand where this is going to stand with what they do in Nevada that they're going to do everywhere else, right? So if they're going to snatch land with really no compensation to the people of the state and just do it by caveat, and then they're going to be able to do that anywhere the fuck they have jurisdiction or whatever, you know?
Well, just wherever they claim jurisdiction. I mean, that's what they've been doing. So that's pretty interesting. Since we just got started here, let's do a quick shout out to everybody that showed up on the impromptu chat that was short advertising. But I also see QC Himpson here in the chat room. Jay Watt's out there in the chat. How's it going, Jay Watt? Jeremiah Johnson looks like he's up in Washington saying screw off on I-594, which I guess they're having a rally December 13th in Olympia to protest that registration scheme or anti-Second Amendment, anti-self-defense legislation they had up there, or ballot measure. Third Options is out there. You better get in here, Third. Gator Dread, it says it's cold. It needs some space heaters. It says there's a power outage as well where he's at. Save America's Liberty's out there. Sparkler lithium grease, yep, that's a tried and true method for weapons. Rebel Solutions is out there along with Wild Iron Horseman, and I guess Rebel's an old guy because he said it's old farts night, so I guess he's talking about himself. And that's everybody in the chat room right now. That's a comment at least. And that Atomic Bulls just showed up, 8 degrees where he is, so that's a little chilly. And we're caught up.
And Rebel needs to get his ass in here because he left kind of abruptly in the private chat, and I heard some background noise that made me ask if everything's okay. So just tell me if everything's okay out there in the chat room or whatever.
Well, he's commenting, so it must be halfway decent.
Right. Okay. Oh, no, wait. I just got it. All right. Yeah, Countdown Kids. Okay. Just kids.
Yeah.
And that happens.
So, but yeah, on this cold thing, there's a article here. The low highs, there were 1,360 records in the last 7 days. So that's a record low high temperature for the day. So that's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo's got what, 5 feet of snow?
Yeah, they haven't had that much snow this early, and one drop since '76. And I remember that shit. I remember reading about it because we didn't get it down in the city, but Buffalo is part of New York, so it would, it's in our news cycle.
Yeah, and plus halfway through the year, or halfway through the month of November, and we're at 50% snow cover of the entire United States, which is pretty unusual this time of year.
The video of Buffalo, they showed that it looked like streamers of snow coming in, where one place wouldn't be snowing and this other place it'd be just dumping like a motherfucker. It was kind of trippy.
Well, my brother-in-law, he's doing over-the-road trucking, and he's up in that area right now, and he's not happy. At least according to his last Facebook post.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering about how this weather, this whole Ferguson thing, how this weather might subdue the response or subdue the event.
I think if they're smart, it should help it. I really do. Because come on, it's in the heat of the summer. Things get, people are hot, they're agitated, they're whatever. When you're cold, it's a whole different ball game. Especially when it comes to like standing out and doing nothing, just standing around, freezing. Yeah, that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hashtag Team Ferguson PD, baby.
Oh, look who it is. Third up. Or not that we can see you, but we can hear you.
So what's happening, third? You gonna go down? Is the NSA calling you to go down to Ferguson? Because I saw those Homeland Security SUVs in the basement of that hotel down in St. Louis. Are you in some hotel in St. Louis right now?
No, I'm on Hoth.
Oh, they got you back at Quantico for some retraining?
No. It's fucking too cold to go anywhere.
They got you on lockdown. You're locked down.
Snow over there, Mule?
What? Oh, it's freezing.
You guys don't have any snow on the ground?
No.
Dude, we've had snow for days.
Nope. We have
First time I remember snow this early in a long time.
I live in a weird place in Illinois, along the Illinois River, and it breaks weather systems either to the north and just south of me. So, like, there's places that are just south of me, maybe 20, 30 miles that have snow, and places 10 miles north that have snow, and we're in a band that doesn't have any.
I'm cool, though. I personally think it should be winter all year round. So.
I just think it's all the nuclear plants around me keep that shit away.
It causes the cyclic effect and clears it up over your area.
Yeah, something, man. There's like 4 fucking nukes around me, nuke plants, so. Just gives me the excuse.
Yeah, all the fronts that come through here, even in the last couple of years, it all goes north of I-80. So most of the ski resorts even have been hurting because the fronts, the moisture go too far north, but it's still pretty cold right now.
That's kind of weird around here. It does the same thing with I-80. They always refer to the north and south of I-80. There's a big contrast.
Yeah, and I live right on 80, and we have the same thing. Anytime a weather system comes in, it'll break north or south, but it kind of bypasses us. It's weird. I mean, not that we don't get any weather. We still end up getting shit on with a ton of snow each winter, too, but just usually not as bad.
I wonder how Dozer's doing down there. They've been talking about the anniversary of the tornado going through Washington, Illinois, and how a huge percentage of the structures have been rebuilt and everything.
Right, but that was, and they didn't end up with any FEMA money and all kinds of shit. It was just done by the people and the corporations that lived in that town before them. They're actually kind of proud of that, which they should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that's been a year, huh?
Yeah. And he's been married, 4 months now? So he's still living the happy wife, happy lifetime.
Always those jokes about the honeymoon's over when.
Yeah, when he comes back in the Dragon to hang out. The honeymoon's over then.
He's stuck with the rest of us, right?
Right?
It's
Decided to put up the chat tonight, HD.
I feel like talking about how cold it is. How much I wish we had the snow that most of you guys have, because we ain't got jack for snow on the ground.
Oh, that XL pipeline, if they made it east and west, you can just pump it to you.
There you go. That's an idea. Get all that snow from Buffalo and ship it west.
I don't know, if the water situation gets so desperate in the future, you see has a weird engineering projects like that kind of.
Hey, ingenuity works if they let people work something out.
I'm trying to think of some of the more bizarre ones. I'm trying to remember a super long bridge or something like that along the east coast of Russia. Or no, some kind of a railway or something. They actually proposed a railway to America. It was supposed to cross along the Bering Strait there or something shit like that. I just couldn't see how you could move much material over a rail compared to shipping. I mean, you're talking about a 5,000-mile long railway or some shit.
Yeah, how would it? That would be. How would that work? You know, that'd be kind of rough in
I
the
don't
winter for sure.
undersea tunnel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because the Bering Sea is not like this calm piece of water in the winter.
Yeah, the undersea tunnels are always kind of weird. I remember that I was like 6 years old. We did the trip to Washington D.C. and Virginia Beach and shit like that, and then we went across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and tunnel, which was pretty cool. And you go under the ocean through the tunnel, and then come pop back up the other side. And I look and I go, hey, we just drove underneath an aircraft carrier. That was kind of trippy
Right. Yeah, that'd be kind of trippy.
for a 6-year-old.
So if everybody's, let's see, I
No,
guess
I gotta tell you what's really trippy though is when because I used to. There's plenty of tunnels from connecting Long Island to Manhattan and Manhattan to New Jersey, and you'd be driving through some of these tunnels, and it gets weird when you see puddles of water. You know what I'm saying? You're driving under the East River or under the Hudson River, and you're in the middle of the tunnel going, why is it wet down here?
Yeah, it's about to leak.
that's not supposed to be here, is it?
Well, no, it turns out that it comes in from either side, and moisture and condensation and shit like that. I found out later. But as a kid, it's like,
It's about to spring a leak.
yeah, well, what's the deal here? You know?
Drive a little faster.
Oh, man, tunnels.
Yeah, it was that second Total Recall movie. They had this apparatus where the Earth was so fucked up, they only had safe places like in the UK and Australia, so they made this inside the Earth type tunnel system to go between the two, and they called the thing called the fall or something like that. And you'd fall towards the center of the Earth, and then they had to flip upside down so the gravity was right, and then it would kind of bounce back out the other side.
Right, yeah.
Far-fetched, but bizarre engineering thoughts.
But the funny part about it is that it was actually closer to the real story that, what the hell was his name? Dick, I think it was, that wrote it. Because it was never supposed to take place in Mars, even though that was the cooler movie to me. Philip
Yeah,
K.
like-
There you go. I knew I would remember. So, do you think... Well, this whole winter vortex that we're getting already, do you think it's going to last throughout the whole winter? Or do you think it's going to, again, get back to kind of some cyclical stuff where we'll get fall back eventually? Because I know the almanac's saying, maybe not.
No, I think we're stuck in it. I think it's going to be here, you know?
Yeah, so I do. I think we won't see any nice weather until, maybe February, a couple nice days, and then March. And how do you think that's going to handle, shit that's going to be happening? Because shit's never going to stop happening. Shit like Ferguson or, say the Nevada situation, right? How is that going to handle for protests? Do you think people are going to stick it out in cold weather? Or do you think they are going to bail? You think shit that's going on in Ferguson is going to be a lot less active because of the cold weather than it would have been, than it would be if it was just seasonal, the correct, you know what I mean?
Well, Ferguson, I think it's going to be would keep a lot of people away for sure. I think the ranching types people have a vested interest out here are still going to show up. Maybe some of the strap hangers, the people that are just would come along to support, but kind of they might get chased away by it.
Right, because when I look back and I look at history, especially of some of the things we talk about, how many people left Valley Forge? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And Washington gave them the ability to. He was like, "Look, I understand. You guys can split. Go home. I'll call you when we're ready." And it amazes me how many people stayed.
Yeah, they got a lot of training out of that winter, though. That was the good thing about it.
Yeah, well, you learned how to
Trained,
survive
stocked
cold.
up, and just built that camaraderie. That's one of the big. takeaways.
Yeah, and the esprit de corps, and I'm sure they ended up turning a lot of everybody who stayed all got eventually moved up something because they proved their mettle, basically. Their tenacity to stick around and fight the fight.
Left as platoon commanders or something, and came back, and they were demoted down to private again. People that were stated probably pushed up the ranks.
That's what that would make sense to me too.
Yeah, it was a lot more fluid back then, I think, as from rank to rank. I don't think it was as stagnant as it is now.
No, well, I mean, at the time you could buy your rank, so it was actually pretty easy. You could get your rank through 3 ways, right? You could be appointed by a military commander. You could buy your rank in the militia, or the men could vote you in the militia, right? Depending upon how your particular militia worked, usually. So I mean, if you look back in our history, many of an officer bought their commission.
Right?
What's that picture of, Neil?
Chirac in winter.
It's a combination. It's Hoth Chago.
Yeah.
It looks like Star Wars in Chicago or something.
Star Wars, Hoth, right, and Chicago, right, and it's going to be a long winter in Chirac, right, one of the deadliest cities in the world. So what do you gotta do?
Trying to think of where they are. They look like they're up north of downtown or something.
Yeah, they're right on the lake, a little north on the lake.
Might be better to call it Chiganistan if it's winter like that.
Right, Chiganistan, Chirac, yeah. Might have to change it to Chiganistan, make T-shirts and sell them,
Right.
Hell, they were doing it with Chirac. You can buy a Chirac T-shirt,
Yeah. Check the trademark office, get it trademarked.
Yep. Chiganistan. So, how's the chat room doing anyway?
They're talking about how cold it is everywhere. People losing truckloads for the weather. Talking about the fair weather militia who are all gung ho. Joel talking it up. A couple new people. Mr. X-Man Rules is out there.
Hey, Rebel put up a cool little dragon. You see that? He's got a little green dragon icon on there.
Where did he find that?
I don't know. But it's cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, we got 21 watching right now.
22.
Don't forget the thumbs up.
My Team Ferguson PD hashtag's not taking off.
Oh, is it not picking up motivation on Twitter?
Not going nowhere, man.
Well, man, I'm telling you, I'm actually glad I got out there, and it made me, getting out there in the cold and doing a little bit of shooting for fun made me understand I really need to get out there and just do some cold weather shooting, period.
I just wish I would have been out there so he could have cried while my AR continued to run and his AK quit.
It never quit. He was just having issues with that, Pat.
Oh, no, my AR would have kept going.
Well, my guns kept going, so that was the takeaway I got from that, is I'm sticking with what I got,
That's all right. I would have been able to collect one of you AK guys' tears.
Yeah.
Made a nice smoothie with it.
Lube my gun with AK owner's tears.
Well, there's such a rarity that they're like fucking, platinum, titanium, diamonds. They're so rare.
We'll use them as a new currency. That'll be the next money standard is going to be AK owner tears. So rare.
They're so rare. You would have to. An AR guy could lube his gun forever from one AK tier.
So
I'm surprised he was having problems with fire clean. That stuff's supposed to be golden.
Well, it's funny, and me and Reb were kind of laughing about it a little earlier. Is they're always trying to make something better, right? They're trying to sell you something great, right? And what worked were the three things that are actually pretty old: Rem oil, right? Red high temp wheel bearing grease, and white lithium grease. They kept chugging right along like they're supposed to. And from what HT's telling me, the Rem oil is supposed to have froze up anyway.
Yeah, Rimmel usually comes up.
Yeah, and it didn't. And I mean, the mean temperature was like 15 degrees. With wind chill, it was 0. So either way, the Rem oil should have gummed up a little bit, but it was a SIG. So SIGs tend to be, even though they got 500 different versions of each gun, they do tend to work. And like I said, with mine, everything just went bang. No problems, no issues with the red grease. So, and the Rifle Dynamics, no issues, no problems. White lithium. And I'll tell you what was kind of cool. I don't know if you guys saw it in the video, but the Rifle Dynamics muzzle brake on there, right? Well, it's more of a flash hider, I guess, than a muzzle brake, or maybe it's a muzzle brake and the flash hiding is the extra. But the only place you saw any kind of flash was right in the brake. It wasn't like the PAP. The PAP was kicking out fucking 5-foot flames, which I love, by the way. But the Rifle Dynamics was keeping that right there in the muzzle brake. That was the only place you saw anything.
So you're talking about the same ammo?
Well, no, his is that's a 5.45.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can say a barrel length going from a pistol to a rifle might allow more time for the powder to burn and you get less flash. But
I'm sure it does. But still, it's just every time he brings that out, I just like the gun. I think it's a cool gun. It's really well built, And you know me, I'm a Wasser guy with the AKs. I want the crappiest, junkiest one that's going to just go bang every time. But that's the one shined up Pinto I can appreciate is the Rifle Dynamics shined up Pinto.
Yeah, it'd be good. Just redo your guns and relube them a different way and see if it works next time. That'd be a good test. I was wanting to do the frog lube here when it gets a little colder and hopefully see how it works out. I've shot it under freezing, but I want to get it real cold and see how it works.
That's what I've run, and I've never had a problem with it.
Well, that's what I'd like to see is people just out there in, everybody everybody talks about training. Do they go out there and when the weather's shit, when it's raining, when it's freezing ass cold, when there's, 3 foot of snow on the ground, you see something. It ain't
raining, you ain't training.
That's what I was saying, but even going out, say if you have a routine of going once a month to the range, do you go even if the weather's shitty?
Of course not.
I do.
Crazy?
I don't care if it's raining, snowing, or whatever. I'll still go.
You know how much bad weather I've been in, and you think me to go out there now? I tried to get Rebel to go Wednesday, but I think he's backing out on me. I asked him if he wanted to go, and he never responded, so I think he doesn't want to go.
Well, I've been trying to get him to get me a shooting video of his PAP for a while, so I don't know. What's up, Reb? We're calling you out live. I know, we're dicks. What can you do?
I started a hashtag Team Obama to see if we get that one going.
You're going to start the hashtag Rebel Loves Team Obama? See if you can get a reaction out of him?
Oh, no. Let's start a Rebel hashtag. Let's see.
Well, shit. Reb wants somebody to 69 him, or are you just saying you're a Pisces, Reb? What? Everybody's finding these emoticons or whatever.
Hashtag Rebel Loves the AR.
Yeah, I just saw that. I didn't know those even existed.
Right, gonna goad Reb into coming into the room. You know how you get him in.
I bet his AK would have quit in this Indiana weather.
You know how to get him in, Third. Starts playing some Yanni. He loves that shit.
Okay, hold on, let me get my phone.
Well, if anybody's got it, it would be 30.5.
I ain't got no fucking. I'm searching YouTube, asshole.
Yeah, man. I really think that it's getting damn cold, and I'm going to have to spend more time out there with cold-ass pieces of steel in my fucking hands. Thank God I got good gloves.
Oh yeah, you gotta have gloves.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. Seriously, you have to have gloves.
And that'd be a good thing too for people to practice is getting out there, seeing how it works using a thick glove versus if you got a nice thin contact glove, your hand might be a little colder, but just experiencing the difference. And you can shoot with a thick glove on; it's just a lot different.
Yes. And luckily, you know what, and it seems not to disparage anything, but the AK is built for that kind of shit, right? Whereas a lot of pistols aren't. When you have a thick glove trying to get your trigger finger in some of the trigger housings, it's a little difficult. It's a little tight, and you got to be careful. If you're wearing a thick pair of ski gloves trying to draw a firearm, and you're running a Glock or an XD or a Smith & Wesson, and the only safety's on that trigger, well, be careful.
Yeah, your gloves. I mean, especially on a smaller caliber, smaller trigger well, there, it's going to have issues getting your finger even in the trigger, housing there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're clear of your holster before you even think about putting a finger in there. Or holster your body or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I was trying out different gloves the other day, knowing I was heading out to the weather, right? And I have different ones. I have those mittens that are fingerless, right? You can pull them out, the hunting gloves. And I ended up just taking my contact gloves, the mechanics types. They're not mechanic gloves, but that type. And they did fine, But I took out my thick ones, and I didn't want to do it because of the fact that it was a struggle to get it in the pistol trigger. On the AK, everything works fine. It's fucking built for that shit. But yeah, so just getting out, and no matter what the weather, get out there, get some shooting done.
Yeah,
So hell is frozen over. HDP is doing a Green Dragon hangout.
Hey, that's what I'm here for when it's cold and miserable. I'm here to motivate everybody.
Right? Yeah. Why don't you show us your freaking big old heater that you got under your desk there? Probably got one of those turbo.
There's my big old heater.
Oh shoot, I got one like that too.
Oh, one of those little ceramic jobs?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you saw what we brought outside just to warm our hands that fucking day. My buddy Jay Ryan's like, I'm going to go grab the torpedo heater. I'm like, cool.
It wasn't lost on me that the only one that was really looked prepared was Katie. She had the mittens so she could flip them back and have total dexterity.
I was totally prepared, but I always am. So
yeah, that's why we got no footage from you.
Oh, his batteries died supposedly.
Yeah, that's being prepared. You'd have solar.
I don't know if it was very sunny there either, though, was it?
No, and yeah, and 2 files got corrupted that I did take, probably because of the damn cold. But so I can't wait for Breeze to bring his in to show what he filmed, because he had his helmet cam going with the GoPro.
Hey, you need a third to knit you a camera sock.
You got to remember your batteries are going to die quicker in the cold too. They suck the juice right out. It just takes so much more to run.
Yeah, well, that and having a cameraman would be nice too, but I didn't bring any of the kids. It was just me. And actually, I was thinking, I'm looking at that fucking barn because it's not even used as a barn anymore. I think I'm going to take a couple of laths out, build a little shooting room out of it. So I was watching the video. It had me thinking, I could pull some of those boards off the side right there.
Just put a window and then put the torpedo heater in there and shoot from inside.
Yeah. But the reality of it is I actually want to be outdoors in the weather doing Most of my shooting. I like shooting outdoors better than any kind of indoor thing.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I can always dress up for the weather.
What about loading magazines with the gloves on?
Always.
There's another challenge.
Well, the 9mm sounds like a real pain in the ass, but rifle runs sounds a little easier.
Magna Lula, baby.
I can't remember the last time I used an indoor range. Probably 11, 12 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I always shoot outdoors.
Well, you can blow up all kinds of shit that they won't let you do in an indoor range. Huh?
And I do every time. Every time I do video, I'm always bringing tannerite. I had an explosion that got corrupted. Mine. Katie's should be on Fabrizio's. Katie blew up a bomb. A tannerite.
She set it off a chatterite inside an indoor range. That would get pretty exciting.
Right?
Yeah, I asked Fabrizio to come in, but I think he said he had to hit the rack already, so wouldn't be in the night.
Yeah, he's got to work, man. They've been working his ass like a dog. They called him in the night before to do a midnight shift. Right? So they call him in Sunday after he'd worked. He got home for a couple hours. They called him in because somebody called off, and he went in and worked. And then still ended up coming out. So that was awesome of them. They're really good people, Fabrizio and Katie. They're both good people.
Did you work at Home Depot or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody, they're busy as fuck coming up here, getting ready for Black Friday.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, but man, he was just tired and it was cold. And like I said, it was cold. And that shit saps your strength pretty damn quick.
Yeah, so it's like he's quite a trooper to come out through all that. That's cool. Thank you, Fabrizio, for making a day for Buell.
Well, no, I'm lucky. I can go out there fucking every day if I had the ammo.
It's more fun when you get a buddy, so.
Yeah, my buddy don't care. He's like, yeah, you can do anything you want. So, but yeah, it was cool to be able to go out there with Breeze and get him out there, even though we were freezing. It was fun. So
Do you remember it was Dayton, Ohio? They were reporting mystery booms a few days ago. By blowing up Tannerite in Dayton neighborhood.
In town?
Yeah, there's just out in the. I don't remember where they just said it was. I don't think it was downtown, but it's out in the rural area. But reporting booms. I just wonder how much all these mystery booms are like Tannerite. They're kind of weird hours of the day. Not too many people be blowing shit up after dark and stuff like that. But
I think Jim's been listening to too much Coast to Coast.
well, the Coast to Coast will start lending to the idea that they're building underground military bases and tunnels and all kinds of weird shit like that. So, I want to go out the deep end a little bit there.
That's a given. I think they're already built.
I just wonder how they build that shit, how they dispose of all the material they're excavating. But
a lot of times they just do it in the open. They don't even care.
like the Denver airport, there was always the rumors of all kinds of underground shit there, but never really saw any evidence of where all the excavated material gets hauled off to. But
They put it in their pockets and walk it out.
yeah, like the Great Escape movie.
It's a Hogan's Heroes reference.
I'll never suspect a thing.
Third's too young to get that.
Hogan's Heroes?
Please. Goodness.
I saw an episode once.
A rerun. That used to be one of my favorite shows when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's the show where the Cuban guy's married to the redheaded lady, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Ricky Ricardo or whatever his name is.
You had to bring up redheads, didn't you?
There was that Steve McQueen movie, The Great Escape, where they had a similar kind of deal where they have dirt in their pockets and they go out and kind of let it trickle down their pant leg and scatter it
Well,
around.
that's because they really did that shit. That's really happened. I mean, it happened in one of the Stalags during the war. It happened at Alcatraz on the guys that got it out and made it into the bay. People really did dig tunnels and just, dump it off in whatever their yard was. They're saying that's those guys that did that bank heist over in Europe a couple of weeks back that dug a tunnel and broke into a bank in France, I think it was. And they took like $50-60 million worth of shit out of safety deposit boxes and had a little party in there while they did, drinking wine, eating cheese and shit, whatever.
Oh man.
Fucking French do it with style, right?
Good times.
I see somebody breaks it at Fort Knox and they get in there and they're, fuck, where'd all the gold go?
Why couldn't I find a crew with that much class?
Right, and the only thing that's left are fucking, pizza boxes and beer cans,
I'm stuck with you guys.
Yep. Yeah, speaking of being stuck, we going shooting Sunday or what? You never did tell me.
Dude, I am not a texter. Right? If you need to get confirmation, just dial my number and say hey. Because, I don't know.
Didn't
Sunday?
want to disturb you, I didn't want to take up your time.
Yeah, whatever.
Drag his ass out there, HDP. He needs some man time. He needs some.
Yeah.
If anybody needs gunpowder therapy lately, it's him. He needs some gunpowder therapy.
Yeah, you got to take me out to your secret spot. None of this range nonsense.
Oh, no, we can go out there. It's not that secret, but sure.
Yep.
Go and I want to see video of HDP with that pap in his hands again. It looks good.
Right?
Look good.
Whatever.
He's the operator.
Then third option will disown me. I won't be able to get in the good crew with third option anymore if I do that.
Oh, Third Op's got secret video he hasn't uploaded yet of him loving his AK.
Hey, I admitted it the other day, Mule. The last few times that I've been out to the range, I have done nothing but shoot my AK.
Yep.
Now that said, aliens were to invade tomorrow, I'm grabbing my one of my ARs.
Right. We believe you too.
Yeah, right. Once you go 30 cal, you never go back. We know.
Yeah, no. It'll always be AR first. Look, when I die, I want to have an expensive rifle in my hand, damn it, with no nicks or dings in it.
No nicks or dings.
No, dude, all my rifles are beat up. I don't own a single fucking safe queen.
I was going to say, what are you doing? Having them bury you in your gun safe?
It'd probably be best, because if my wife finds out how much I actually spent on that shit, she's going to murder me again.
Oh, hell yeah. And I think that's true with all our wives, right? We better put in our wills that, she needs to check with our friends before she sells our guns, because they're not really what we told her.
Right? Not only that, but I thought I got over on mine because they're all black, so I thought she wouldn't recognize the difference between them. How wrong I was.
It didn't work out that way.
No.
Right. My wife ain't home yet, so I can tell the truth. I've told her they were all $100. So please clue her into the fact that that's not true.
Well, I'll be kind. I'll offer her 200.
Yeah. My kids already. Thanks, buddy.
Dude, the other night, I don't remember when it was. We were in a chat. I don't even know if it was live or what it was, but you had taken off to go get the missus, and Colin started like messing with us.
Oh. No, that was my daughter, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the 13-year-old. I come back, and she's like, Daddy, I was messing with your friends. Thought I was Colin. I was like, because Colin usually is the only one that'll do it. Yeah, I know. I wanted to have some fun. So I started messing with your friend.
Yeah.
And, of course, that just made me love her more. So, it was all good.
So,
I'm
I saw
lucky. I may not be rich in I may not be rich in finances, but man, I'm rich in friends and family and that kind of thing. So
right, the important stuff.
yeah, exactly. The real important stuff.
So I saw a cool little hack. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. I wasn't at the time. Um, if you want write in the rain type paper, you can use baking paper. It's got like a filament on it that's waterproof. So you can use that. I would assume that's a lot cheaper. And then it gives you, a large size so you can draw maps and stuff like that. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Never heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, parchment paper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a question for you guys. Maybe you guys can help me. I got a little ideas running around in my head like a fucking squirrel.
We're live, Neil.
I know.
Keep it short.
Just checking.
I know. And they may be able to help because, somebody I'm sure has already gamed this kind of crap out, But using the tools we have to our advantage now for communication, but using it, basically the way the terrorists do, where you're talking code. And the reason why I bring it up is because it turns out that the RNC uses the same shit. They opened up a bunch of Twitter accounts that nobody knew were RNC accounts, and they would talk in code to people and give, directions and shit in codes along the Twitterverse, right? And, a tweet's only what? Up to 147 characters, and the only people that are going to get it are the ones that are signed up to your Twitter accounts. So I was wondering if, what you guys would think about it for like a militia kind of thing. For an emergency contact kind of thing. Instead of just getting up on the, opening up a green dragon and screaming, "Hey, the chair's against the wall, goddammit! The chair's against the wall!"
The problem is most code nowadays is so easily crackable that it's not worth it.
No, a mnemonic code is hard to break because they have to have what you're actually using to break it. I mean, especially if you're using numeric or something. I mean, they'd have to have the shackle sheet, or whatever you want to call it. That's what I would call it. But if they don't have the shackle sheet, they don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Hey, I'm not worried about it. I'm mad. I've got mad skills at frickin' using code. Did you see my knitting circle?
Just
They had no idea what I'm talking about.
Just because you have the market cornered.
You missed it earlier, Third, when I was telling Mule that you need to make him a camera sock, because I know that your knitting circle is off the his end.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can knit camera socks for everybody, Third.
That's right.
And
Camera socks for everybody this Christmas.
No, that's cool, man. I did catch that.
Just waiting for my scarf, that's all.
Right.
HTP got greedy at first. He was asking for a quilt and shit.
Yeah, I was wanting to know if the patch quilts would be done.
No, it's a knitting circle, so I'm figuring a gun sock should be the minimum thing, right? It's going to be shaped like an AR, because that's all you guys know how to do.
It's not bad. It's a good group of guys. There's 12 of them, not counting me. So
Oh, so you're lucky 13?
yeah, something like that.
It's a squad.
What happens when they do a background check on you and find out you're, part of the establishment?
Oh, you don't think my backstory's been covered? I got fake prison tats and everything.
Sweet.
That's the critical part, right? The tats.
Got a spider web on my elbow.
Dude, all you got to do is grow your beard out and you'll get a pass.
Teardrops. When's the last time you seen his picture? Who's saying his beard ain't all the way out?
Right?
Oh, dude, I can't have. I wish I could fucking grow a beard out, but I can't for work.
And he's gone Manson, right in the forehead.
Oh, gosh. Manson. What about that story? That's just bizarre.
That's crazy.
Bizarre story of the day right there.
Serial killers need love too.
Well, here's the problem with that. He never fucking killed anybody.
Yeah, but they get conjugal visits, right? I mean, if they're married.
And I thought I read that he won't get them.
He's 80, she's 26.
Well, hell, you want to kill him? Give him a conjugal visit.
Right?
Yeah, he might be doing the same thing he did before, getting other people to do the killing for him.
And he
And
was
that's-
sentenced to death when?
What was that, Third?
So he was sentenced to death when? He's still kicking?
Right?
Yeah, well, he got his. Remember when they did away with the death penalty in the 70s, right? They communicated whatever they did to everybody who was sentenced to death at that time got life sentences. And then when they reinstated the death penalty in the early 80s, right? Those people, their sentences were communicated or whatever the hell it's called, and even though they were sentenced to death, they had life in prison. So he's eligible for parole in 2027, maybe? I think it is. 2017? 2027, I think it is.
Where's he? Is he in prison in California?
Yeah. But talk about I mean, he never killed nobody, right? Now, they all said that he told them to do it, and they did it. But, again, well, that's, our justice system can fucking, if they want to bust you, they will.
That's hearsay.
Of course it's hearsay, but you know, everybody was all hyped up by the press from the LaBianca killings, right? Or no, the Tate killings, right? Sharon Tate's killing, right? Pregnant, you know, director's wife, you know.
What year was that? Was that 68 or 69 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of shit happened in those few years there. That's crazy. Patty
That's-
Hearst and
Mm-hmm.
then came Kent State.
No, Patty didn't get kidnapped till like 70, 71. And she was further into the 70s, right?
There was that Weather Underground thing where they burned down a whole block in Philadelphia or a whole neighborhood or some shit. Or
No, that wasn't the Weather Underground.
No.
That was
What
the
was that?
Philadelphia police that did that shit in the fucking 80s. And they bombed a small community fucking group that were you know, dissidents against the fucking the Philly PD. And they
Yeah,
burned them out like they were fucking Waco, and admitted it. Destroyed a whole fucking block of houses, had to pay compensation. They admitted they fucking burned them out.
Yeah, that was.
back in the 60s, they had, Bobby Kennedy and then Martin Luther King and just fucking wild times, that's for sure.
Well, but are they any more wild than what we've lived through since then? You know?
They were just conditioned to be used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I used to think growing up, you know, I used to hear the stories. My mom was a hippie, marched in the 60s, you know, blah, blah, blah. And yet come from a family of, you know, what would now be called terrorists. And yet, you know, I used to think that, oh, look, the tumultuous 60s. And it's been tumultuous since then, right? It's been never-ending fucking stress and crisis, supposedly, here in the United States. You know, they've been building on the fear for 40 fucking 50 years.
It's conditioning, maybe that's as part as you get older, you just get conditioned to it. But we don't want to get conditioned to the martial law bullshit. But that's what's happening, though.
Yeah, that's what they want. That's exactly the plan. Condition everybody to it. It's for their safety.
Well, everything these days is for our safety.
Even
Yeah,
Star Trek had an episode where they had to do a health and safety inspection or some shit.
Yeah, see, I was talking.
something.
It's funny. I was talking to Reb about that a little earlier. Remember, Reb?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get out of this Star Trek mindset and get into the Star Wars mindset, right? Rebellion against the Empire, not let's touchy-feely everybody and meet all the rest of everybody and we can sing Kumbaya around the warp drive.
Didn't we argue about that in last chat?
Probably.
About how the progressives are all Star Wars and we're all Rebel Alliance over here.
Yeah, we're all Star Wars. They're all Star Trek. They want everybody to be commies, and we want to, no, we want our freedom. 21st, and it's funny. I saw that earlier, and then turns out Resist the Tyranny just did a video about it. QC Hemp shared it.
Shocker.
Yeah, but no, it's true. The Washington Examiner came out with a thing earlier today about how we are 21st in personal freedoms in the world. The United States, the freedom of the planet, right? And that's why I'm so sick of hearing about how we're number one, right? What the fuck are we number one in other than putting people in prison?
We're number one at killing.
Freest country in the world. Well, no, it turns out 21st freest country in the world.
We're the best at killing, though. That's got to count for something.
And the other,
We started taking care of our own, doing it here in the U.S. and getting rid of our damn fucking tyrants over us. But we're only good at killing outside of the United States. Or, the cops are pretty good at killing the people of the United States.
something about their airdropping food and weapons and shit to ISIS.
Right? Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds, right?
Well, did anybody catch that video of the lined up execution, where they're pulling bayonets out of the brand new bayonets out of the box and whatnot?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, you got to go check it out. It's all over in Europe, right? But you see a line, right? There's a video, and it's a line of them. They're executing people, and I think Truth Seeker showed it, or G Mango showed it in a chat too. So maybe they could put the link in somewhere. But there's a line of guys in brand new American combat uniforms, right, or whatever they gave brand new to the Iraqis. And they're all lined up, and these ISIL members are all lined up. Fucking had to be at least 20 or more, right? Guys grabbing brand new bayonets for the AR, right, and cutting these dudes' throats and their heads off and laying it at their feet, all wearing brand new American gear or American paid-for gear. So I hope everybody enjoys their tax money going to that shit. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's so fucked up about the spin. Whatever side happens to support the Federal Reserve this month, they get the support.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, those pictures of Ferguson out there, like hundreds of DHS vehicles.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny if actually nothing happened.
Yeah, and half of me says it probably won't because both sides are controlled. The protesters are just getting spun up just to create a reaction so that there's this big force that everybody begs to be there. So all the, I don't know, one side gets all wound up about needing the police to go crush them,
Everybody would be fucked up. Really, absolutely nothing happened. They came out with the announcement, and there might be a couple small protests, but then after that, it's like it's all blown out of proportion, all the emergency nature of it.
Yeah, that or like the grand jury comes out and they indict him on charges.
They're not gonna ride anyway.
Yeah.
Like waiting the tournament or whatever. Oh, we'll burn down our own city. We won.
Yeah, we were right. He's guilty. Burn him. Burn the place down. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, as soon as that family started asking for Al Sharpton and Eric Holder, it was all a staged event after that, if you ask me.
Begging for the UN to come in there and help, and the UN says it's not a business.
Complete,
The majority of them, I don't think it's been about Michael Brown for a long time.
Yeah, after those first couple weeks, I don't think it's been about him.
Well, but it just brought more awareness to police shootings. But you think the police unions would kind of help trying to rein in their troops, but they seem to be making it worse.
No, because they want them to. They want martial law. They want to play with their toys, right? But I think it's going to be interesting because of the weather. There's either going to be hardcore. The people of the area are going to come out and stand, right? And I think the cold will help expose or limit the agitators. But it's going to be too cold for them, right? And they'll be too exposed because it's not going to be as big a crowds as people are hoping for. Especially if it's fucking bitter.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the temperature in St. Louis right now? I mean,
I don't even know.
let's see what. It's showing a 13-degree wind chill. That's the wind chill. So it's probably pretty cold.
Yeah.
We're heading for an upswing in temperatures here over the next few days. So heat wave, it's going to get up to 28.
Yeah, but if they're not really that used to getting it that cold down in,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
you know, especially this time of year, you know, maybe January, but not, you know, fucking November.
Yep.
You know, so that's going to limit a lot of people. You're not going to bring out the kind of people you would if it was nice.
Except for the paid instigators.
Yeah, but then they'll be easier. They're more exposed in a smaller group, so you won't see them do shit as easy when they're easily identified. You know, if you're in a mass crowd of 1,000 people and somebody chucks a bottle that starts everything off, you're never going to be able to pinpoint that person. But you're in a crowd of under 100, and everybody's going to see you through it and go, "Fuck that, bust him."
Everybody's pointing over there. Get him.
Yeah, I mean that's just human nature, right?
Oh yeah, people don't want to be rolled up for no reason. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's do a quick shout outs to the room. So we got any new joins here. Let's go back a ways. We got P NASCAR's out there. More days. Freezing, he says. Joel's Quantum Heart is out there, and he's got tons of comments about a little bit of everything. I don't know if I can respond to all that. 69 Bones. He's saying that's just as bad, Mule. I'm not sure what he was referring to. And then Optimus Androids joined us. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while.
Now I gotta go see what's just as bad.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking. That's his only comment. It says, Mule, that's just as bad. I'm not sure.
Let's see.
That's just as bad, Mule. That's his comment. I'm not sure what he's talking about. It's a while back.
I'm gonna go look.
And more days again, and we're pretty much up to speed. Oh, Paul Pinkston just popped in. So we're up to date. Welcome everybody. Some good comments out there by talking about obviously everything from the cold to Charles Manson, so we're covering the gamut.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing what's just as bad though. I mean, I saw Mr. X-Men Rules split. I don't know why.
I think it was about a comment you made that I don't know.
Oh, see, now I was checking out those emoticons, and I just put up a toilet, and then I put up snoozing when, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was just like, oh, that's cool. So if you think I was saying something, if they actually mean something, let me know.
All right.
Because I don't even know. I don't know what they mean.
Don't take us too literally. We're just joking around.
Yeah, and whoever, there's like how many Green Dragons in here? We're all bartenders, so some of us are showing up as the Green Dragon. But yeah. So yeah, if you're seeing that kind of stuff, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying, to be honest with you.
We found a new toy and we're just playing.
Yeah, I'm just goofing with it. I never seen those things before, and some people are putting up cool shit, and that's why I started playing with it, because I saw Mr. X-Men and put up 2 cop cars and a taxi. I was like, what the fuck's that mean? That's cool.
Oh, 69 Bones says he's talking about the Charlie Manson comment where you said he didn't kill no one.
Well, he didn't, right? He didn't actually kill anybody physically, meaning he did the deed, but he killed people in the Hitler sense. You know what I mean?
Well, wait a minute now. This kind of shit irritates me. Jury nullification. If OJ can get off, then why couldn't Manson get off? He didn't physically kill anybody, right? He didn't actually do it. It's hearsay to say, oh, well, he told me to do it. Well, if you don't have proof of that, then that's, I mean, and not to say he's an angel or anything else, but, that's what defense is for. And if you don't have, without a shadow of a doubt, proof that he orchestrated it, whatever, I mean, how can you be convicted? It was because of the media coverage.
No, they did have some, they didn't have him actually saying go out and do it, but there were they had some evidence.
Yeah, but that's the thing, when you get an emotional case like that, and heaven forbid a celebrity was slaughtered, and the overtones of the whole thing, they would have convicted a little old lady.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But to say that just because it was hearsay, then every RICO case they've ever done in the United States would be all heresy, all hearsay.
Well, RICO is a bad law. I mean, RICO is a racket itself.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is then,
Now we're getting
criminal,
somewhere, baby.
anytime a criminal speaks out against another criminal, it would be inadmissible because it's all hearsay.
Exactly.
Well, that ain't the way the American justice system works anymore.
Well, it's the maritime justice system,
Because
really.
our justice system doesn't work. That's the problem.
Come on, Jim.
Here we go, Jim. Fired up.
Stop looking at porn, man. Get in there, baby. I opened the door for you.
Right, softball.
Last night on Coast to Coast, I had Peter Schiff on there, just talking about the state of the economy. And apparently his dad's in prison for,
Yeah, he's been.
not paying taxes or some kind of shit. But they talked about the trial, how they wouldn't even let the defense present the wording of the law that he was supposedly being charged with. So it's just talk about how bullshit all these federal convictions could be.
Yeah, he got railroaded big time.
Well, you see it all the time. There was a guy who was, I think it's in my state, that was growing marijuana for his own usage, right? And they weren't allowed to bring up medical marijuana at all in the trial, even though he was using it as a medicine. And that was the only reason why he was growing it.
That's the same thing here in Scott County about that case about not that long ago where the guy had all these weird tumors and shit, and they wouldn't let him bring up medical marijuana. But so he got convicted, but for his terms of his probation or whatever, they allowed him to move to Oregon or Washington State or wherever he could get his medical marijuana. So that was pretty cool. They figured they didn't want the expense of incarcerating him and this huge insurance cost, so it was just cheaper to let him to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we control him because we have him on parole, right, or probation or whatever, right? And yet he can go anywhere in the country, but he can never, he's not really a citizen. He's now a prisoner wherever he goes.
Free range slaves.
Yeah, exactly. Free range slaves. Yeah, go do whatever you need to do, but we can jerk your chain at any time. That's why, I can't tell you how many people I've told, look, if you got to do time, do all your time. Don't get out a year or two early because you think you're going to be cool, because that year or two early getting out of actual physical prison is going to add 10 years to your sentence in parole. And that means they're going to be crawling up your ass with a spyglass the whole rest of your life.
Yeah, just kind of joking about some kind of deal. I know it was a proposal of how long they monitor you after they release you, from your incarceration. So, if we had to supervise him for 10 years after we let him out, well, what if somebody does a life sentence and then he dies in prison and they have to supervise him for 10 years after his sentence is up? So the guys go to the cemetery and say, yep, he's still here.
Wouldn't surprise me. Just making sure he didn't turn zombie and we'd have to lock him back up. Oh, God, man. This whole fucking planet's just so screwed. It really is.
So do the aliens watch us for, comedy TV?
Maybe the dragon. Maybe that's about it.
Those fucking Earthlings. Look what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine? There's actually, there already is like this galactic alliance or whatever, and all kinds of different fucking crazy ass species, and they look over at us, and we're like the West Virginia of fucking the universe and shit.
Well, Calvin and Hobbes said it best. The sure sign that there's intelligent life elsewhere is it's not tried to visit us.
Right.
Nice.
Tell the tour guide to stay away from that planet.
Yeah, man. That one, they still, they're crazy. Watch out for them.
Or whenever they did visit, they made sure they got out of here quickly, so as not to be discovered.
Right. And if they were humanoid at all, they're going, look, they're distant cousins. Fuck them. I don't even know them.
Yeah, back at their home world, they're making jokes about yeah, your mama was an Earthling. Don't insult me like that.
Yeah, speaking of that, what's this strange light over Russia or whatever tonight? Everybody see that video?
That's pretty freaky. It's a bright yellow color. It made me think of like low pressure sodium or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'd actually be a little worried about shit like that. That comet or that fucking meteorite that blew over Russia a couple months back earlier in the year. Everybody's a little tense right now.
That was last winter.
That shit might spark off some nuke or some shit.
Well, who here thinks they've weaponized space, and that's why we don't have a space program anymore?
Oh, I do.
I do too. I think space has been weaponized since we were hitting the moon. They already had nukes pointing down.
Yeah, back in the 70s, a friend of mine went to one of the local air shows, and he got some pamphlet that was some of the Alcoa people were passing out. It referenced something about Alcoa supplying materials to the secret moon base. And then he tried to do some follow-up on trying to figure a couple of years later to find out there's somebody's name mentioned in there, and of course the company had no knowledge of whoever it was that was listed in the pamphlet.
Right.
If they have weaponized space, how would you like to be the guy that gets that post? Hey, sorry, Carl, we know you put in for Hawaii, but you're going to the moon.
Right. Damn it! Can't I get Antarctica instead?
Oh, shit.
Fuck that. I don't want to go to the moon. Fuck what I want to go up there for.
It's big enough to have a post-recreational, facility like that. Total Recall. You go to Venusville or whatever it is.
No, you kidding? What do you think they started designing real dolls for? To send it up there for recreational purposes?
Yep. Android maintenance machine or whatever.
Right. Talk about off the chain.
Oh, Joanne Steen posted something about some woman that has an orgasm disorder where she's constantly orgasming all the time. It was kind of silly.
Imagine that, man. That would be annoying.
Yep, like the people who hiccup all the time and can't stop or something like that, yeah.
Right? Oh my God. Oh, Tony said he's going to try and jump in after he gets the kids to bed.
Yeah, I wonder if he went down to the FBI office to find out when they were scheduling Bundy Ranch bullshit.
Hey, when you're doing this, we can, make sure we're there on time.
I hope it's after his court date. Knucklehead. Happiness is a warm gun.
I wondered if you saw that song I posted into that video.
Oh, I did. I've actually used that in an intro.
I thought you might have. It sounded familiar.
Yeah, because I'm always screwing around with that shit, right? I love copyright strikes.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't
What
see
did you get a
any.
strike for?
Anytime I use more than like 15 seconds of a audio track.
All right.
I had a couple of them where it just says banned in Germany or something like that.
Yeah, I have some that are banned. And I've learned that for a while they were letting you get away with 30 seconds, right? Now it's down to 15 before they'll give you a copyright strike for shit over 15. Or
Well,
that's
that's
what they've been
good.
doing with me lately.
That's good because nobody's intro should be more than 15 seconds anyway.
Screw you.
Well, that was delay, man. He must have had to put the pipe down.
Well,
It's not supposed to be
yours is
about
like
you.
27. What are you kidding?
No, dude. I'm a 10-second man.
Yeah, that's what Tracy says. But I'll bump.
Damn it, I couldn't get unmuted fast enough, Mule.
Oh, I knew he was going to say something like that, though. That's what that setup was for there, third.
Timing is everything, man.
Telling you, especially when you're running this comedy troupe.
This has a real old school feel tonight. And, you know, when HDP, he's texting me saying, hey, man, what's the deal? But I had drama coming, so I texted him back.
Oh yeah, what happened by the way? I mean, I know you told me kids freaked out, and I understand it, but I heard that scream, and you were like, I gotta go, boom.
Yeah, everybody was kung fu fighting. My poor little puppy pissed herself. It was so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
So you walked into war. 1 minute you're chatting me up about bullshit, and then you walk into war.
Pretty much.
War on the home front. I've been there. That's why I'm able to laugh, because I've been there. Right? You're in the middle of a fucking chat talking to somebody across the goddamn country, and all of a sudden war breaks out in front of you. Oh shit, really? You don't realize I'm on a chat? Bah, bah, bah. Well, I'm not on a chat anymore.
Yeah, you heard that even with the door closed and all that.
No, I just heard I heard a female scream, and you were gone.
Yeah. My daughter thinks she's Mariah Carey or something.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Well,
good thing
I heard her from on the other side of the house, on the other side of the country. Those
Yeah,
are some
exactly.
pipes.
You know, Rebel, when that's the only music you listen to, your kids are going to pick up on it. So.
That was good. That was good.
Well, to be fair, you could choose a lot worse music.
You know, like ABBA.
Hey, nothing wrong with ABBA. What are you talking about?
Wow.
Oh, hell.
Oh, that was a good one, third.
Yeah. You know how many times he probably has a good one and he's saying it and then he realizes, oh, I'm muted, and then we
Yeah.
change the subject.
It's happened before, whether they were good or not, but it's happened.
Right?
God, take that fuck.
Son of a bitch. And it's just not funny coming out the second time.
Yeah. Like, hey, can we go back to what you said like 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. Is there a way to edit these things?
No.
Can you insert my joke later?
Right? Make you totally
We'll put that in post.
make you totally sound more wacky than you already are.
Yeah, shit.
Can you go back and annotate the video after the live thing's done?
Right?
What do
Big
you want,
letters across it. We're all drunk and stoned. Forgive us.
You got to do the setup.
Oh shit.
It should be once it's over and it's a video. You should be able to edit with YouTube, right?
I do not know. I've never tried.
Yeah, Jim, that's your task, man. Go in there and edit. You know, out of a year, we probably have about 20 minutes of good material. Can you find it? And
Well, I thought Stinger was hinting around he was going to make some kind of project like that like 6 months ago, but then I'm sure it was easily overwhelmed with you had to like download the videos and then be able to fast search through them because you couldn't be able to do it online, fast enough to find the shit you want to look for.
Which
Oh,
is why we haven't seen much of Stinger in the past 6 months. He's lost in a pile of fucking old dragons.
Yeah.
That's pretty far lost right there.
I
Yeah.
think he's taking up archery. That's why I haven't heard from him.
I know. I got to try and get a hold of him this week. I want to see if he's heard from Kansas at all.
Right.
I want to see how Kansas is doing.
Yeah, last time I heard he was doing fine. He just had computer problems. So
Yeah, me too. And that's why I just want to do a quick checkup, you know, because we've had some of the old school coming in. We had Dave Bashir was in here last Thursday.
Yeah, the Viking was hooking it up.
Yep, yep. So, and that was awesome seeing Dave in there. I mean, Viking hadn't been in a while, so it was cool. And he was telling me he's all happy. He's got enough ammo for his 100-round drums. So, and he got his RPK, which he's been wanting ever since he got the 100-round drums. God, and maybe can somebody explain to me how? And this is, I know none of us are, you know, fucking hip to the import laws and shit, but how they're able to import, they're still able to import Chinese guns, just not certain guns, right? We're getting that Chinese copy of the Sega shotgun in, the Fury, right? Century brings in those coach guns and pump guns from China, right? The Hawks and the coach guns, the side-by-sides. So how are we able to get shotguns in America, no problem, from China, but we can't get AKs and pistols?
I suppose how they wrote those sanctions against Russia. They weren't supposed to get the steel core ammo or some shit. So you can get the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand how those bans are, you know, go around or whatever, or how they even fucking work. You know, because like I said, we can get Chinese guns, but just not certain ones.
Sure, it has to do with somebody getting paid off somewhere.
Yeah, no shit. Because I'll tell you, every time I talk to a Canuck, they're bragging about how they're getting that Chinese ammo for fucking cheap. You know, and I want more cheap ammo. Damn it! I'd love to see AK. I want to see AK going the same way of gasoline down.
Yeah, let me know when you find 22 long rifle.
No, I don't care about fucking 22 long rifle. I want AK ammo priced at 22.
Despite what Yankee Marshall says, I still want to shoot my 22.
Well, the way it is
See
now.
that video he made?
No, I don't want Yankee
It's
Marshall.
pretty
there's
silly.
only one sub to him, dude. Anyway, on that note, I'm out of here. Have a good chat, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, see you later, Red.
I'll call you later, Reb. We'll talk.
Yeah, it's real easy. Instead of typing all that stuff, you just hit dial.
Well, see, I can just hit the voice recognition and say it. You know, that's not that hard.
Oh, is that what you do? My fingers are too fat to be typing on that.
And that's why you use the voice recognition, so you can text without typing.
Yeah, that's too high tech for me. Anyway,
Later,
we'll
Reb.
catch y'all on the
All right.
next one.
Later, Reb.
Right.
Tony needs to roll in here pretty quick. Like,
I'm in here already.
visit the chat room real quick out in the external. Knuckle Mac 33's out there. Talking about they need AKs for the war. Joel's got tons of comments still. Nobody knew, it doesn't look like. More Days, Paul Pinkston, still out there talking it up. I think, yeah, we haven't really had anybody commenting out there.
Right, but we got more people there. We have 21 right now. How's
Yes.
it going?
Did Tony just join us? Who's that? I thought I heard somebody come in.
No, I just sent invite to Tony.
Oh. Well, I sent him one on G Plus and Facebook, so we should have one.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna send Wild Iron one. You available, Iron? I'm gonna send you a link,
He
buddy.
should have one on the G Plus too.
There you go. And yeah, I don't know if he's even on. If he's
Yeah,
even
he might.
on Facebook. so I can't send him one there. Which it turns out HDP isn't all too hip to getting his invites from there. Even though,
Yeah, I just don't like coming through that way. I'm not usually signed in that account either, so I won't necessarily see it.
right? But sometimes that's when I put out the invites. I'll throw it on whatever social network I'm connected with people on, right? Be it G Plus or Facebook or through the YouTube or if I really need to on the Twitter. But I'm trying to keep off the Twitty-verse.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd send a link to the chat room via Twitter. I'd
I
get
did
messed
that
up.
once back in the day, and that's why I got rid of my Twitter account for so long.
Yeah, you can mess that up pretty easy. I can see that.
I did. We had some dude come in and show his dick, and another dude just constantly bouncing, screaming crazy shit, and it was like,
Oh, yeah.
And then that's when Tony told me that, yeah, dude, you're too hooked into Twitter. Everything you do is on Twitter, including your porn. I'm like, what? Disconnect. Get rid of this account. Fuck you.
Break contact.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're sending Wild Irish Horseman a link, he said he never got it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Oh.
Well, I sent you one through here. HD's going to try and send you another one.
That's the only reason I came to the chat tonight is because it was fucking HDP that sent the link. Holy shit, the Green Dragon's been activated.
Dun dun dun! Everybody get out your
Called
room.
up.
Go to war!
It's go time.
I said that's funny. Yeah, a chair is against the wall. Yeah, different codes.
Yeah, and the drinking word is revolution. Ow! No, not metaphorically. Really, get your fucking ass out of your chair. I'm joking, honey. She's growing for my gun. What the fuck? Wasn't serious. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the political port. She's made a couple of videos recently, so she's back in the action a little bit.
I must have missed those.
And trying to remember, can't remember, having a brain fart to remember what the video was about, but she's in your usual spirit. No hesitation on the swear words.
What, did fucking TPP make a new video?
There was one out kind of over the last 2 days. I'm trying to remember what it was about though, but no hesitation on the swear words, which is
I'll have to go back and check because, man, if it came up in a weird time in my feed, it goes away quickly. You know what I mean?
There's Wild Iron.
What's up,
Right
Iron?
on.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, you mentioned something about using crayons to write in the rain or something like that. That's a good idea, I guess.
Yeah, well, I only use that reference because truck drivers are so fucking stupid that crayons are the only thing they understand.
Come
Here,
on
sign
now,
the-
we
sign
actually
the
call
bill.
them colored grease pencils.
Okay, all right, okay, I'm sorry. Right, yeah, right. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Right? Why do you think I mean, I can't even imagine what it's done to the truck driving skill, this whole GPS thing. Nobody needs to learn a map anymore or be able to follow contour lines or anything any longer. They just get told to do.
I had a fucking, actually about a 45-minute long discussion about that today. And had two guys said that they threw their shit out the window and went back to maps because, I mean, physical maps, just because they can't rely on this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that back in the day, but I thought it got better since. I mean, back in the day, you didn't know what, fucking sometimes the goddamn, I was driving when they first started putting out GPS and giving it to drivers, and we couldn't rely on them then either because they'd send you into a fucking cornfield, tell you it's a city.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you go by dispatcher's fucking directions and they'd put you someplace else on the other side of town.
Yeah, that's why when I was driving over the road, the only thing I asked for were addresses and phone numbers.
Yeah.
I have maps, and I know how to read them. So just give me an address and a fucking phone number. You know?
Anymore, if when I get an order from the government for the firewood and all that shit, I Google it and type and I print it out in their very distinct, their area. And because I know, say it's a town that's I'm used to, I know how to get there from where I'm at. So once I get into their area, I do a little bitty map so that it's easy for me to. And I use the GPS as well, but just I don't rely on it because it sucks.
Well, shit, what's the one that used to be out? They used to post that book. Was it what the fuck was the street guide in California? Every town's got one of them.
Oh, McNally had it.
Yeah, but McNally's nationwide. It was one that was pretty much just kind of West Coasty that everybody used to use.
Oh shit, I don't know.
Damn. Yeah, but Glenn isn't. Okay. The wife's saying, oh, some of those guys are a lot younger than you, baby. They ain't going to remember that shit.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No. Wild Iron's right in my age group. We're peers. Right? That ain't throwing you under the bus, is it, Glenn?
So that's okay. I'm used to that.
Thompson Guide. There we go. I knew I'd fucking remember it.
Oh, the Thompson. Yeah. It just never got as big as McNally because McNally, like you said, is national.
Right. But Thompson, I didn't, and that was the thing. I know when I was on the West Coast, I had two sets of maps, right? McNally's were fine for their whole rest of the country, and their big truck map that you could write on with grease pencil was awesome, right? But once you hit California, if you didn't have Thompson guides, you were screwed. You know, because the Thompson guides, they were updated all the time, and they had every fucking street and alleyway for that area.
Yeah, you get into the Bay Area and you need that shit, or L.A. Fuck, you need that. You need it.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you? That's splitting? Yep, that was Jim.
I guess that was Jim. Good night, Jim.
Night, Jim. Coast to Coast AM was on, so he had to go.
You guys we gotta figure out how the hell to distinguish who's the red, the green, the blue, and the yellow, the red fucking dragon when you're in.
Right? Well, that's why I try and see what I'll do is I'll post a separate picture. I'm in as the green dragon as well, but when you just turn off your camera, you come up with the center icon like you have now, right? That's the icon that people will see on your page. You know, and that's what gets represented when you have your camera off, right? So then you'll have a whole line of green dragons and you never know who the fuck's talking.
Yeah.
No, I don't like having my camera on where you see my bad hair day, so I throw a picture up.
How do you do that? How do you present that separate? Because I mean, I got it stuck on my screen now. And it doesn't come off.
Well, that means if you clicked on my picture, it's stuck on your screen. Right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's just because okay.
For you to put one up like that, you click over to the Hangout toolbar, right?
All right.
You go to the little icon that looks like an AK site, Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Closed one, and you'll see it says Custom Overlay. Right, and it says choose overlay, and you click onto it, and you take a picture from your computer, you put it on there, and if it takes it, then you have to turn your camera on and turn on custom overlay, right? And see, my camera's on, right? I hit the camera, I hit the overlay, and there you go, Chirac.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Right, or yeah, I just change it.
Sorry, that should have been a fucking internal private chat fucking discussion, but...
No, that's all right. You know what? Who knows? Maybe people out there, want to do their own chats. or maybe one day want to come on, and gives them a little heads up.
That's a great overlay right there.
Yeah, that's my. I read this back when I was a kid, and I never realized how much I absorbed it into me because I've been trying to say the same thing for a long time, and this actually puts it in such better words that I can't do any better. So this is my, if you call it my creed, right? I am free no matter what rules surround me. If I find them tolerable, I'll tolerate them. If I find them too obnoxious, I'll break them. I am free because I know that I alone am morally responsible for everything I do. And we've said basically the same thing 1,000 times here in the Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great thing. Great overlay.
It's freedom in a nutshell. You know what I mean? It really is. It's freedom in a nutshell. Because no matter what.
So who's the other tavern out there then?
Third Op.
Okay, Third Op.
Third Op and HD. HD started this thing. Started up. And then bailed.
Yeah.
As you can see, we get the Battleborn flag.
Yeah, and he's not muted. We're not hearing any crickets, but that's because it's fucking 24 degrees out there right now.
Yeah. You hear crickets, it's not some fucking little bug. It's me rubbing my legs together to try and keep warm.
But it's only 48 right here, so I mean.
Fuck you.
Sorry, man. I got a roaring fire going. I got my pits going. My pits are in my pellet stove. They're fucking all fired up.
Well, no, man. It's just been cold here, and then I went out shooting, and it was great shooting out in the cold, but it was just fucking cold, And the funny thing is, I'm messing with metal firearms, and the things that hurt, the things that are the coldest, are not even the guns, because I have clothes on, and I have on, gloves. It's the steel in my fucking body, right? That's causing these crazy aches because they're so fucking cold from that shit, and just used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the steel in the body does make that makes it worse.
Well, by middle of winter, I'm okay with it, right? And when winter's a build-up, it's a little slower, so I usually am used to, it's a build-up to the pain, to the discomfort. It starts out as discomfort, and, as long as it's a slow, steady upward, I can be uncomfortable for a long time, right? It's not really pain, as you get more and more used to it. But it was such a drastic change of weather that, man.
I got a question. Okay, Morty's is talking about the GPS and shit. Okay, and you see a lot of the fucking you see a lot of GPS or a lot of fucking stupid videos where people drive off of bridges that aren't constructed and just accidents in general. Truck drivers doing U-turns and shit that they shouldn't be doing U-turns in. And I wonder if the GPS contractors could be sued civilly for destruction for their instrumentation being wrong.
I would say more than likely not, because I'm sure that when you buy these things, like the stupid contracts we all click, yeah, whatever, terms and conditions, yeah, I want to get on this website, right? I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. By buying it, you're automatically in contract with them, and they have a clause in there saying that we're not responsible for streets being closed or not there.
Well, I was just wondering because you see some, you see some deaths of Asian people and stuff like that driving off bridges into ravines and shit like that. But come to think about it, they're probably just following the fucking directions of the GPS.
Yes, and that's the problem, because if you don't engage your brain too, you can drive right off a fucking bridge that ain't there.
Oh right? My God. When I came back from the Bundy Ranch, when I was out there with Tony, it directed me to go out to a subsurface road or surface road, and all it did was I thought, okay, let's just shortcut going through backside of Vegas, right? No, fuck no, it put me right beside the fucking highway, and I'm looking over at the fucking freeway, and I'm going down the hill the same side. It's just like a frontage road. And I'm going, what the fuck is this shit? And then it put me back on the freeway, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't even have to get off.
Yeah, sometimes they do some. Well, because at one time in its programming, there was some road work being done there, right?
Yeah.
And everybody got directed off, and it didn't get updated soon enough, right?
Another good example is when I went out there to the grassroots fucking march at the Capitol in Carson City. I'm driving down fucking 50 going to Carson City, and then it says take a right or take a get off the freeway, take a left, and then take a right, and then I'm going, this is a fucking freeway. This is like 6 wide. And so I just stayed on it, and it redirected me, but finally it got me downtown Carson City, and it wanted me to go down old Carson City to get down to where I was. It's like, what the hell is going on? This is all screwed up.
Well, that's part of the reasons why.
But you made it at least.
I did.
With those, I don't use GPS, right? And I still know how to read a map, and that's where you got to pay attention with all this electronic, whatever, helping brain, smartphone shit. Check them out as much as you check anything out, because they can be just as wrong as anybody.
Well, this is true. Relying on technology isn't really that reliable.
No, and even if it's just like you said, you know what, that one section of the highway where you're going down and just wanted to divert you for a while because at one time there was a detour, but that detour's gone now, right? They fixed the highway, everything's cool. But
Well, what it was doing, it was taking him down old 395 when he was here. It was taking him the old road.
Well, even when I was coming back from Bundy Ranch, on the way back into Vegas, it put me on a surface street. And it's like, what the hell is all this all about? Okay, I thought, like I was telling Mule earlier, I thought I was going to take a shortcut to the backside of Vegas to reroute around Vegas to get me out to where I need to be in Nye County. And no, it just rerouted me for about 5 to 10 miles. And then put me back on the same frickin' freeway that I was on, originally.
One time, this is probably 8, 9 years ago. We're up in the Sierra, and on one of the roads that goes across the Sierra, and this guy's, he drives by our campsite. He drives back and forth like 2 times. Finally, he stops where we're at because there's really nobody else around. We're just kind of hanging out by the road by our campsite. And he's like, I'm trying to get to Mark Leeville, which is up a ways, and the GPS is telling me to take a right or to go north from here. And we're like, you can't go north from here. You're in the crest of the Sierra. You got to go back to 395. The GPS was directing him cross country across the crest. Oh. It was all screwed up. We were laughing. We're like, oh my goodness, that's the most screwed up directions I think I've ever heard of.
Well, here's an example. I was out there going to Denali, right? And I was going to them opal mines. And I get out there, and me and
Denio, you're talking about?
Denio, that's it. Yeah.
I was like Alaska. You threw me off there.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I say Denali all the time. Anyway, I was going out there to Denio, and this chick I was with, she's going. We're talking and stuff, and we missed the turnoff. And she's going, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but my GPS redirected us back up into Lakeview, Oregon, back down to 140 from Lakeview and around, and we were on dirt roads.
Yeah, you always got to second. Anytime you're out somewhere in the boonies, you always got to check out.
Holy shit.
You can't trust it.
Thank God I had a full tank of gas, man. It was bad. It was bad. 2 hours bad. It put us back into
Oh, wow.
Seagoville, California, and we were only a quarter mile away from the turnoff to go down, to fucking Denio. And we just missed a turnoff, but the roads were wide, and then all of a sudden they started getting narrow, and then all of a sudden it's a donkey trail. He's going, I don't think this is the way it goes.
It took you to Oregon and back down through Susanville to get to Denio?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that's crazy.
Instead
Yeah.
of just telling you to turn around?
Yeah, instead of turning around. Yeah. We started. It would have been. We would have wound up there at 2:30 in the morning. We wound up there at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow, it sounds you guys almost had your own Gilligan's Island going on there for a while.
Yeah. That was a road trip.
All right, fellas, it's rolling up on 1:30. I'm gonna go ahead and crash out.
Hey, later,
See you,
Third.
Third.
Thanks for dropping in.
I'll catch you guys later.
All right, Third. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Hey, we'll let you know when the bat signal goes up, all right?
Sounds good.
Dun dun dun. Oh, where the hell's Antonio? What's the chat room?
Yeah, I think Tactile Tony. Well, chat room. Salamander Slate just jumped in and said, "Denial train." Jeez, I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if it's something going on in the chat. I just popped in there. Don't know what they're referring to. Are we in
because
denial
maybe they
about
were
something?
thinking you were saying deny O, right? Not denial, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. Kind of an odd comment. More days. Blah Blah Tuesdays in there. Just jumped in. Don't think I've ever seen them in the Dragon. Welcome. And that's about everybody else's same. Wild Iron, Jeremiah Johnson,
Right.
all in there. But
You guys, if you don't follow Jeremiah Johnson, follow him. He puts out some good shit on the G Plus. So, all other shit aside, just
Right.
saying.
all right.
So HTP, are you gonna go out there or what's the deal?
We're talking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm still in indecision mode. I'm not sure if I'm able to make it or not.
Well, he needs to know. I heard he's making a big old ham and a turkey, and he's doing Thanksgiving at his place.
I don't need to do that, but
Yeah, my mom and dad said they're putting on a 26-pounder. They thought there's going to be a whole fucking shitload of militia guys out there.
are they expecting a big crowd coming up for that weekend?
No, just some heavy eaters.
All right.
Right? He
Have
was
you
hoping,
already-
he was hoping it was you, Reb, and Tony, right?
All right.
He needed to be able to belly up to the trough.
Yep. You guys in all the families and shit. Hell yeah, they're working on putting up fucking places for everybody.
Do you know anything about the rescheduling the whole meeting with BLM? Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I didn't know when they were rescheduling.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a date or anything. I just know that they were.
Yeah, I heard that they rescheduled it, but I haven't heard when the actual rescheduling was. And that was for Pahrump, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had scheduled it because that was for the Nye County meeting. They were gonna. It was supposed to be for the county commissioners and everybody. Speak their piece.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll find out more about it when I get out there. 'Cause
Yeah, they should be having one. They should be having one for Lincoln County too, I believe, and of course Clark. But
yeah, because I haven't heard anything locally amongst the people that I know regionally there of what's going on. But that doesn't mean anything. That just means that they're just got their heads buried in the sand. They don't really want to hear about that shit.
Right. But yeah, I mean, shouldn't they be holding public forums in every county that it's happening in, including
Well,
up by you, right?
No, they're only doing it in the counties that are demanding it, which are the ones affected: Nye County, Lincoln, and Clark. I don't even know if Clark demanded one, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have one. They're not required to have a public meeting like that. They opened it up for public comment, which you have to send them a letter, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I know. I pointed that out that when it first broke about it, that that you guys are given 90 days to make public comment about it, and it automatically turns into law, which is not the way laws are supposed to be made. But nobody pays attention. That's the way they are made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Nobody pays attention, so they just take it for granted.
Yeah, you can't ever take for granted that people are going to do the right thing. They crucified Christ. Okay?
Well, they thought they were doing the right
thing. What? Sorry.
They thought they were doing the right thing. That's the problem. People think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. But you can't even count on them to do it when they think it, especially in these days, right? Look at the apathy.
I mean, even the ATF agents that went into, Waco thought they were doing the right thing.
Well, even if they weren't, they had to fall back as I was following orders.
Exactly.
Which is doing the right thing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anybody come out and say, well, I did the wrong thing.
No. The only time that you've ever heard anybody say that they didn't do the right thing was Katrina.
Yeah, there have been people that came out and said things didn't go out right.
That's when the awakening started.
Yeah. Good point, Glenn.
That's when the awakening started. But I got a lot of people on the ground out there in Pahrump, and they may not be on the same structure as we are, but I'll be able to feel them out and see what their sightings are as far as where what's going on out there in Pahrump, because I know you posted HDP that there are people out there protesting, so
yeah, there was a pretty good contingent from that video and pictures I saw. I mean,
yeah.
The BLM's excuse was they said the room they had a reserve wouldn't hold the people that showed up, which might be true. But what's the biggest conference hall in Pahrump? Probably hold 150 or so.
Yeah, Bunny Ranch.
I don't know if they have one of those in Pahrump, but
no, not in Pahrump, in Crystal.
Oh, is that where it is? Oh, the one in Crystal. Oh, gotcha.
So I heard.
I'm definitely not going there. That place is talk about a dump. And that's just looking from the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that, and the more people that realize, especially because, like, I'll tell you my opinion on it, and I don't even live in the fucking state, is that this is the place where the federal government, I mean, they've already done it quietly in New Mexico, right? They've done similar shit, and they're snatching up land left and right. Nobody's talking about it, right, in New Mexico, and nobody's saying shit. Nevada's got a stiffer backbone. So it's nice to see people standing up to them in Nevada, and standing up to the federal government, right, against this fucking kind of land grab, because it's definitely a states' rights versus federal government right issue,
Well, and my buddy up there in Denio, he's going through the same shit through the Department of Interior, only not BLM.
Right, it's the state of California doing the same shit.
No, it's Nevada, but it's not Department of Interior of Nevada. It's not BLM. I mean, no, it is Department of Interior, but it's not BLM. It's another infrastructure of the Department of Interior, because they're
You talking
all
about
it's resources,
the
land
Department
resources.
of Natural Resources?
Yeah, natural resources, and they're
You talking about up
going.
there? We're trying to get that one area sectioned off up there, north of the county.
I'm not sure exactly where they're going for, but I know that we had a meeting with the owners of the Peacock Ranch, and they were talking about the same thing. I mean, we talked for about an hour and a half, 2 hours with them, and they said the same thing, that the Department of Interior are the ones that are paying these guys' paychecks, but they're not BLM. They are maybe they are natural resources or some fucking thing. It's a different department from BLM, but they're doing the same thing. They're stopping them. They're trying to stop them from their mining rights and their water rights and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard stories about the ranchers up there in the north part of the county. They just pretty much ignore the signs.
Yeah, but these guys got cops that are local. They're not like BLM where they come in from different areas. They have local cops that are there all the time.
Huh. Well, you know, I'm gonna start. If we start talking that kind of shit, we can get scary. If they're local, that means they live there. If they live there, that means you can find out where.
Well, yeah, well that's the thing is I tried to do a video with this guy, and I'm trying to nail him down to get an exclusive with him, and it's along with the Peacock Ranch owner. So yeah, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to get it down to where I can put out a little fucking video thing about it.
Cool, because I'll tell you what, man. They do shit in plain sight but undercover. You know what I mean? They don't talk about it. They just do it. Like this whole thing with Southern Nevada, right? Snatching up that land, and it sounds like Northern Nevada too. You know, where they announce something. They announce to the public, oh yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to turn it into a law, even though they're not supposed to. They're not the ones that are allowed to make laws, but they do anyway, right? And they let it out, and nobody's paying attention, so only a few people hear it, and nobody wants to hear the activists that are trying to tell you, because they're like, what? You know, they're too busy in their own lives. They're too apathetic, you know? And you really need to wake up all the people in those counties telling them, look, it's your land they're stealing.
Well,
It's not my land, it's your land.
not only that, but they've already paid for the fucking the rights to mine that opal and shit out of there. You know, I mean, this guy's above board. He's already went out there and paid for 620 acres of the fucking opal mine rights.
Right,
And
so he bought them. He bought the rights either from other people that own the land or from whoever owned the land.
yeah,
If he
no,
didn't
it's
buy the
public
land
land.
himself.
It's public lands. It's just like fucking out there at the Bundy Ranch. It's exactly the same thing, but he's paid the rights, and now
And
they're denying him of it.
wow. So they're breaking the legal contract.
Yeah, they're breaking it. That's why he wants to come out and do this on video, so that people up there in the northern area know this is going on, because it is under a blanket, and it's whispered, so that a lot of those landowners out there don't know this shit's really going on.
Or they're afraid to talk about it.
Exactly.
Well, that's the way a totalitarian government works, right? Dealing in fear all the time.
And the thing about this whole fucking Harry Reid land grab is that it's not even talked about in the northern region up there where they're at. It's all southern.
Huh.
It's all southern.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with that stuff they did this past summer with the ranchers, I mean, it's kind of an extension of that. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
totally.
basically locking them out. Just a different strategy, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, different strategy.
Oh, you guys there? I lagged out.
Yeah, we all lagged out, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just me there for a second. We're still live, it says, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we at?
I was talking about that denial thing. But yeah, no, they're just under a different public entity up there for the land grab. So they're going about load mines and what the hell's the other mine? The other mine, right? Not load mine. It's load mines and there's two different mining operations, and that it totally fucking goes for whatever the like the guys like this guy's doing. Load mine is gold and silver, precious metals, and the other one is for gems. So whatever they're going for, they're even though the people have paid for the rights to go out there and mine this stuff, they're trying to stop them big time.
Well, probably because the Chinese want all that shit. That's all, collateral that's being pulled out of the earth. They probably made deals for all the Chinese to get all that shit.
Yeah. Harry Reid's son made that deal.
Yeah, who knows how far that goes. I mean, until the Chinese say something, we'll never really know, I guess.
Well, and nobody ever wants to talk about how far any of the tentacles of this kind of corruption goes, because they all know it goes too fucking deep, and that's why I believe we need to burn the whole fucker down and start again.
No, I'm with you, Mule, dude. I am so with you right now. We need to burn this fucking thing down and start over. No fucking doubt.
Well, I say we don't burn it; we just split it apart.
But that's part of that.
We go our own way. We just burn the small portion, that 10-mile square called Washington D.C. That's all.
Well, but the thing is the other countries, Russia and China, don't want us to burn it down because we are the #1 consumers of their country.
That's where their debt is indebted to. It's Washington D.C. is the way they control us. Yeah, for sure.
They do not want us to do a civil war because they are relying on us as consumers. If we burn this down, we stop everything at the borders. Everything stops at the borders.
As long as D.C. controls everything, yeah, they still control us. So we cut D.C. off, we cut them off.
Yep.
That's why we got to burn this whole.
Well, and of course the Federal Reserve.
But it's not only the feds. A lot of these state governments got to get burned down too. You go to fucking states like California and New York and Illinois, the corruption's so fucking inherent, so fucking deep. Our states have got to be burned down too. And I'm telling you, it's true in most states. I'm not saying every single one of them, but most of them are like that. Their state houses are as corrupt as the feds because they're all intermingled.
Well, yeah, because they've taken so much on the dole. They're so used to the dole.
Yeah, they're paid off. I mean, basically, federal grants run the states. I mean,
absolutely.
Federal grant programs are such a huge chunk of every state's budget that, I mean, the social services and everything that your state offers are almost entirely federal funded.
Yeah, exactly. And highway use and all that bullshit. But they take that extra money and they pull it off to the side and throw it into the general fund and they piss it away. And then they go, oh, we're broke. Fuck you guys. You guys are pissing our fucking money away on your own bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I live in Illinois, so there's so much cronyism going on here. It's like invented here,
Well, look, I mean, fuck Mule. I'm in California, dude. We're
I know.
Sacramento South, we're a fucking union state. So,
I know. You're just as screwed, I know.
Yeah. And even the cops know that on the Sacramento north side. They don't even look at the shit that the feds are doing. They're going, fuck the oh my god, I don't even want to do this live. No.
Sorry I pushed that button.
Right.
I've got so much information on the inside, it ain't even funny, and it shouldn't be fucking aired. Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not till you're comfortable. But, I mean, of course it should be aired because guess what? That's what transparency does. When you bring that fucking sunlight in, it heals shit. Expose it to the light. Let people see what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, and I totally understand that, but from where I'm standing, it makes me feel better in a fucking state that is so
Yes.
fucking blue, dude.
Well, no, I understand. And how can we, you know what? Who knows what's going to get somebody black bagged? You know, so it's also that. You know, you never know when you're going to say the wrong thing, and then you ended up stepping on your dick. You know,
Well, I don't know who's watching this.
right? That's what I mean. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure with my constant saying "burn it all fucking down," you know, I wonder why my computer's slow. You know,
Third option's hard at work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. That little bastard.
and that's why we invite him in. Might as well have the devil in the, you know, in the tent.
That's right. Devil in the chicken coop. The fucking coyote in the chicken coop. Hell yeah. Where the
No.
fuck is Tony? You know what? Where the fuck is he? Because I have not heard anything from him in about 2 weeks, and I was thinking about that today. What the fuck? I'm gonna have to text that little bastard because where is he?
He's around. I mean, I've texted him.
Yeah, and I talked to him early. He's had some issues. He's Tony. He's had a couple issues,
All right.
and
All right.
I'll let Tone don't let people know, you know, what's really going on.
Yeah. But I want to make sure he's up and running. He's not flat side. He's fucking up and running, right?
No, he's up and running, but he's got some issues right now.
Okay. All right. That's all I need to hear. I don't care. I mean,
Yeah, no, he's okay. He's alive. He's breathing. He was tucking his kids into bed. He was thinking about coming in here. He might have fallen asleep or something, but
all right. All right. I just making sure because I haven't heard from him for about fuck, like I said, 2 weeks, something like that. It's like what the fuck.
yeah, I know.
You hear Tony. I mean HD or HT TPP. You don't hear from her for 6 months at a time, so that's getting used. I mean, we're getting used to that. So
Well, life gets in the way, you know, and
does.
sometimes it's actively getting in the way. You know, it's doing it on purpose in some cases. Might be one of them, you know, but he'll have to explain that shit.
Well, I just want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, no, he's okay.
All right.
He's all right. He's alive. He's still kicking. He's
I'll
still
be
Tony.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Roger.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Tony's been.
Have you been in contact with him in text?
Yeah, just back a couple questions and stuff over the past week or so.
Right. Okay. So you talked to him recently then.
Yeah, I mean, I texted him to get in here.
Right.
But yeah.
Tony's just Tony.
Yeah, well,
So, HD, how are your rabbits and chickens doing in this kind of cold weather? And what do you do to keep them warm, if anything?
no, nothing. Other than providing a dry place, you know, they're out of the actual weather, you know. We don't provide any heating.
Right. Okay.
They don't need it.
Well, I mean, besides like, you know, the bedding kind of stuff,
They're
right?
tough.
The straw or whatever kind of bedding material you use.
Yeah, they have a place, you know, something like that, but not like any external sources or anything.
Right? Not even like a couple of incandescent bulbs or some shit.
No.
Do you have a water source outside?
Yeah, I mean, when it freezes, you gotta go out and break it open for them and stuff. But
So
you
you
know,
don't.
the rabbits get watered twice a day, so that's a constant thing.
Right? You haven't heat taped your water source out, your outdoor water source?
No. Yeah, I need to figure out. That'd be good to figure out something for that.
So what do you use for heating when it comes cold like it is right now for the rabbits? Because I mean, they say the guys around here say it's too hot for us around here for rabbits in the summertime.
Well, we don't use anything for them. I mean, they're hardy. They can live out in the cold as long as they're dry. It's fine.
So straw and all that shit, it's all good then.
Yeah. As long as they got as long as they're dry, they're able to maintain. And they got food obviously that they can maintain their body heat. They're okay.
All right.
But now, what about on the opposite end of the scale, like you were saying, on the heat? So they're okay in the cold. They got a fur coat.
And in the heat, you gotta rabbits can survive. Well, I shouldn't say survive. They gotta be cool. I mean, like if it gets, I think if they get over, is it 85 or 90, they stop being able to reproduce for a period of time. And then once they'll die of the heat pretty quick if it gets above that. So you gotta keep them cooler in the summer.
How the hell do those rabbits out there where I'm at in the Pahrump survive?
The jackrabbits?
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, jackrabbits are different. I'm not sure about how their whole body works, but domesticated rabbits, they're a little more sensitive.
Okay.
And they're still surviving 95, but you don't want to get them above that if you're going to try to breed them or anything like that. And plus, when you got them in you got them in cages or you got them cooped up, they're not able to cool off like a wild rabbit can. A wild rabbit can seek ways to cool off.
Okay.
Right, like getting into a burrow in the ground or finding some shade or water source on their own or something.
Exactly. They're gonna. Yep.
So yeah, that makes sense. But the chickens are doing okay out in the winter out there too, in the cold. But they're not laying any egg now, right? They're not laying any eggs at this point.
Yeah. Once the sun cycle, it's more about the sun cycle than the cold.
But now, could you change that by using artificial light? I'm asking probably real simple questions because I don't know shit.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, you can put a light source in their coop, and that'll throw their clock off enough to keep laying eggs through most of the winter.
Right.
But they also go through a cycle when they molt, to where they don't lay either. So depending on when they molt, they're going to stop laying anyway.
So the way you're raising them, do you store up eggs and shit? Because eggs can store for.
Oh, they store for a long time if you don't wash them. As long as they're clean, I mean, if they're, if you get them, you don't wash them off. That has that natural barrier. They last for months.
Huh? I didn't know that. Because I only buy store bought, so I'm sure they're washed.
Oh yeah, they're bleached. Yeah, so they're completely destroy the outer shell, which is what protects the inside.
Huh? I did not know that.
So
that's cool. So look at that. Even we covered some prepping shit on the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you can just test them too by with the water test if they float or not. Depending on how fresh they are, they'll sink, or whatnot.
Right.
Or sit at the bottom, and you can get a good because, those chickens will go off and hide somewhere, and they stop laying in the actual coop, and they'll lay off under a tree somewhere, and you won't find the eggs for a week or something. So it's good to have a test, and you can check it out and see how fresh they are.
Oh, I bet. But now, your rabbits are eating rabbits. So do you do any slaughtering during the winter, or do you just do it in the fall and then?
Oh yeah, you can butcher anytime, just whenever you breed them.
Right. So as long as they're fat and sassy, you can butcher them.
Yeah, and a breeding pair, a doe is better to breed her regularly. If you don't breed them regular, they don't have good offspring. They kind of like lose their condition, I guess, or lose their fitness level, I guess you'd say, or whatever, of having good offspring.
Are you gonna have any fucking good cooking for next week?
I know we got some we're getting ready to butcher. I'd have to see what kind of meat we're planning on getting out of them. Why do you want to roast some up?
Yeah, hell, dude, I'd love to have some out there. I'm gonna be heading out Tuesday or Wednesday, so you got
You're coming down this way too, right?
Yeah,
You'll be coming through this.
I'm
I
going
could
to
just
Vegas, so I'll make a detour.
Well, you don't have to make much of a detour to come through here.
No,
You're
I
gonna go
know.
995, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you'd be coming right through here. Yeah, I'll have to find out exactly what we got lined up. I know we're planning on doing something this weekend, so we'll see how many we are and what we're going to plan on doing with them.
Well,
Our
if
freezer's pretty much got all it needs.
you got something going on, let me know, because I'd love to have some of that.
Right.
And just to touch base with you guys.
Now I'm all jello. Fresh rabbit in Nevada.
It's not all it's cracked up to be. Come on.
It's not. Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's meat. I know it's not like whatever, but it's good. I like rabbit, and I like Hassenpfeffer. I like fried rabbit. I like rabbit. So haven't had it in a while. I'm one of those weirdos that like squirrel too. So
Well,
Hey,
I just
squirrel's good eating. Nothing wrong with squirrel.
yeah, but what squirrel? I mean, really, ground squirrel or tree squirrel?
Well, tree squirrel first off. I mean, but
yeah.
you could ground squirrel, from my understanding.
Well, and we get red tail around here, man, and they're some fat motherfuckers.
Well, I got a lot. I live in 300 acres of almonds, so the ground squirrels are they're vibrant. They eat healthy.
Now, what do you call it? See, I don't know. Maybe you call stuff a ground squirrel that I call a ground hog. You know? I don't know if there's any difference. The only squirrels I know are the
Groundhog out here is a groundhog. I mean, actually, what you have out here are marmots, which are related to the groundhog.
Okay.
But I guess they have groundhogs over on your side of the mountains, don't they?
I don't know if they have ground hogs, but I mean, we got squirrels that live in holes. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, our squirrels are just fat. They're like the kind you see in the movies and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a ground squirrel's a little bit different than a tree squirrel, though.
Oh, okay. I don't know the difference. So,
Well,
are they bigger?
tree squirrel has a big, wide, freaking stripe down the middle of the belly, all the way down. So they're
Not ours. Ours are just gray until you hit the tail, and then it's a red tail, grayish brown.
Yeah.
And then it's got either a red tail or a gray tail, and there's not much difference between the two. Not any I've ever been able to taste, but the red squirrels are a little fatter than the gray squirrels.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm saying I don't know what a ground squirrel looks like, because I never hunted when I was out in California.
Yeah, a ground squirrel's a lot smaller than a groundhog.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, an East Coast groundhog, but what we have out here are marmots, which are directly related to the groundhogs you guys have out there.
Yeah, groundhog out here is a beaver without a tail.
Yeah, but they're not related. But like a marmot it's a hoary marmot is what they're called out here, is the technical term or whatever, and they're cousins of what you guys have called groundhogs.
Yeah, ours are all ground squirrels. They're all gray all the way down there, and they're very, very skinny. Oh, we lagged again.
No, I was talking to wife.
No, I was reading. Sorry, we left you hanging, didn't we?
Ours are all gray squirrels. They're gray all the way back. They're real tender. They're real small. Nothing. They're like rodents, basically, with long ass tails.
Yeah,
Bushy tails.
that's the regular. That's the squirrel to me, right? Is something they're basically a rodent with a long ass tail.
Yeah.
And you get about as much meat as you do out of chicken wings.
Yeah, exactly. Chicken wings. Yep.
And that's what I like them like. You get a bunch of squirrel, you chop them all up, and then you batter them and deep fry them like chicken wings.
Well, then they're probably pretty good. I'm just thinking because the frickin' things they eat a lot. I mean, for a while there, I was getting $15 a tail for just killing them. because they eat a lot of almonds or almonds, as
Right.
you guys. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're also tasty. I'm surprised Mexicans don't like eat them. Maybe they just ain't been turned on to the redneckish. You know, because if you got a bunch of boys from around here or Kentucky, Tennessee, you know, anywhere in the Adirondacks, you have them all, they're all squirrel hunters. Squirrel's good food. And with the way meat prices are now, gas prices are going down and fucking beef prices are going up. Fuck.
Oh yeah, any alternative you can find.
Yeah.
No, if I turned the Asians onto this meat, they'd be all over this shit. I wouldn't have a squirrel for fucking 10, 15 miles.
That or you become a squirrel farmer, right? Or you know,
Yeah, a squirrel broker.
right? Oh, they'd love you in the Chinese restaurants.
Yeah.
Right? That fucking General Tso's chicken would be General Tso's squirrel.
Oh no. We might be able to sneak rabbit in. I don't know if we can sneak squirrel in.
She just went to bed.
Well, you guys plan on hanging around? I was planning on cutting it off at 10:30, but we're still rolling.
Oh, you can cut it off. I'm still going to stay in the room and bullshit with Glenn, so
I was going to shut her down then if you guys want
it's up to you.
to wrap
Yeah.
it up and say some goodbyes or say some shout-outs there. Mule, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm doing Thursday night. What it's going to be about yet, I don't know. But I want to shout out Tony and all the bartenders, everybody that joined us tonight, everybody out there. Thanks for showing up. And, you know, just pay attention. Wake up. Wake up, America. That's the best thing I can ever say. Wake up, America.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
well, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm with Mule. You know, it doesn't matter which department you guys fucking follow. I mean, there's a lot of people that follow us. There's a lot of people that follow different channels. We all need to wake up. We're all in the same group. We're all in the same fucking boat. We need to get this thing together, and we all need to collaborate together. I mean, everybody's going to have different. We're going to have different ideals about everything, but it's all a collective. So you know what? Wake it the fuck up. Talk to everybody. Talk to everybody that you know. Get them all on the same train. That's all that's all I can say. It's like, fuck. Who cares? We're not in this for drama. We're all in this the same thing. We're on the same boat.
right on. Well, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. 70 people that hung in there with us till the end. Shout outs. What have I? Well, anybody that's out there near St. Louis, watch out and everybody stay warm because most of you are cold. So we'll talk to you next time.